The IEC will this afternoon declare the election results. This is despite numerous disputes lodged regarding the Commission's results capturing processes. The election declaration will mark a new dispensation for the country, with the ANC losing a clear majority nationally for the first time in 30 years. Junior Khumalo is at the Results Operations Center in Midrand and joins us now. Good morning, Junior. It is exactly 10:16 in the morning, which means that the IEC essentially has less than 6 hours, just over less than 5, actually, to resolve these issues. Do we know how far they are?
Indeed, Masichaba, they have less than 5 hours to resolve all of these issues. It is busy in the legal shark tank of the IEC. There are quite a few of those lawyers there still seemingly dealing with those matters, those issues that were raised by political parties. Yesterday, when we got an update from the IEC, they had indicated that there were about 579 disputes that had been raised by political parties from across the country. So in the morning, when we did speak to the IEC General Manager, he indicated that most of these issues should be resolved by the time there is a declaration of these results at about 6 p.m. today. But in the next 15 minutes, actually, we should be seeing the ANC hold its own briefing talking about the election results. We know that they are one of the biggest losers when it comes to these elections. The Secretary General Fikile Mbalula will be here. He never minces his words. So it will be interesting to hear from him what is going on, in particular with those coalition talks. But speaking about coalition talks, we do have the ActionSA National Chairperson, Michael Beaumont. Thank you so much for joining us. How are those coalition talks going, Michael?
Well, it's certainly been very interesting. The MPC met for the first time yesterday evening. And I think certainly from an ActionSA standpoint, we were quite disappointed with the approach that was taken. The approach appeared to be that there are no pathways for discussion. And we are increasingly concerned that what is taking place here is that a group of parties have begun discussions with the ANC and that a very clear commitment that this group provided to the South African people, that we would be an alternative and we would not entertain working relationships with the ANC, is being reneged upon. It's a great concern that South Africans came to the polls with that commitment in mind and awarded their votes to political parties on the basis that South Africa needed rescuing, and are now going to come to terms with the fact that their votes are being given back potentially to the same party from which we needed rescuing in the first place. But from an ActionSA standpoint, we've been unbelievably clear with our partners, count us out of any such discussion, because when the big official bloc of opposition parties goes into bed with the governing ANC, we're going to need a new unofficial opposition in South Africa, one that is capable of ensuring that the watchdog actually does some watching. And from an ActionSA standpoint, we are poised and ready to be that.
So basically what you're saying is that there are some parties within this bloc that misled South Africans as they went into these elections. Do you care sharing which of these parties you believe have been speaking to the ANC?
Well, certainly. I mean, the DA has always been upfront about their intentions in that regard, and they've indicated since 2019 that that was potentially their plans. And they've evaded that question right throughout this election campaign. As a journalist, you'll know that better than anybody else. And we noticed that yesterday a comment was made on the floor of this results centre by Helen Zille to indicate that there is meetings with the Freedom Front Plus and the IFP. We don't yet know the nature of those meetings, but it's very clear from the meeting we had last night is that there's a group of parties talking about a way forward, and there's a group of parties not being included in that. And as I said, we're very happy not to be included in that, because at the end of the day, any arrangement that involves depending on the ANC going forward and giving them the votes to continue the destruction of our country, we don't want to be a part of that.
Okay, thank you so much, Michael. That is the ActionSA National Chairperson, Michael Beaumont, basically saying that that multi-party charter coalition that was formed before these elections to basically unseat the ANC is capitulating at this moment, with parties such as the DA, according to him, and other parties now speaking to the ANC and trying to reach an agreement with the ANC as this coalition. Well, we know that the government has to be formed in the next 14 days. So as these talks are continuing to form that government, it seems like the DA is now leaning towards the ANC and not the multi-party charter, Masichab.
Thank you very much, Junior Khumalo, there at the IEC's Results Operations Center, where it's all been happening over the last few days.